Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and welcome back to PCM20. It's career mode. We're on episode 173. We're at the Giro. Of course, this year it's so different. We don't have our big time leader. We have a bunch of potential leaders who none of them are quite there right now. Now, in the comments after the last episode, the consensus there is that I should be writing for AFP. We'll see if that ends up the case. Today's looking like a good day, though, for the trio. Kolda +5, Breck +4, AFP +3. In all likelihood, Kolda's going to be the first one sacrificed. Kolda has a great mountain rating and good resistance, but he's awful in the time trial. We just can't afford to lose that kind of time when there's 2 time trials in this year's race. And not a lot of hard climbs. So then you might look at something like Breck, who's a really good climber and good time trialist, just doesn't have the resistance. And then AFP, who's not quite as good on the climb, but he would have a lot of good support climbers to help him out. He's a 78 there, but then he's a great time trialist and has much better stamina and resistance comparatively with the other guys. Good acceleration as well, so he might be able to grab some seconds, which he's already done once, which is why he sits in 6th, where none of the rest of the team does that. Now, interestingly, in this stage, it's only stage number 5 right now, the breakaway did not formally reach its current status until right at the base of the climb. They were a minute 45 ahead as those 7 riders finally came together. So they've expended a lot of energy to do that because they've been away since the beginning. We didn't chase hard, but just hard enough that they weren't forming up. And so there isn't really any damage to us. And it looks like the gap's holding. And it also looks like we're pretty much on cruise control on the way up the climb. 7K to go now, which means it will be a punchy day and not come down to that mountain rating. Talipov slipping back. Let's go ahead and help him out a little bit. Don't want him losing ground. Some riders have been split off, and it could be a long, hard day for them if the pace stays steady. Alright, well, he's going to recover to position, and we're in an okay state right now. We're going to send David Killen back to get water fairly soon. We've got 80K to go, and a good chunk of that is downhill. So let's go ahead and do that now, even though it's a little bit early. Those downhill kilometers go by very fast. There's not that much climbing to do the rest of the way. In fact, there's really not that much climbing to do the rest of the way. Pack getting strung out a little bit, but we're okay. Just 2 riders left off the front now. Killen a bit tired, but everybody else is looking pretty strong. Kolk Johnson a little tired. $53K to go. Done with the water. That was definitely late enough. We're okay on that one. Those few riders off the back, again, they're having their long day, but it's just 1 rider left off the front. 162, so we still have a lot of riders in contention. There are some seconds available here, but there's going to be some sprinters going after that, so there's no point bothering with it. There's going to be plenty of sprinters still here. Here it comes. There they go. Lead out riders. Alright, 36K. Little uphill swing, but it's going to level off a bit. There we go. Now we're back onto the mostly level. And then we'll basically start the climb. And we are 15K from the top of this thing. I'm going to wait until partway up and then form a train and go from there. I don't need to waste the energy early. We're not the favorites, and I'm gotten so used to treating it like we are the favorites and
the pack is quick in the
aggressively doing something and pushing and trying to, hurt others. That's just not the year for that. Okay, well, now we're at 9K to go. It's a little bit flat right now. This is a good chance to set things up. So AFP, huh? I think Breck is no, it is AFP who's a little faster, and the Kolda. Millar, Talibov, both on -2s today, unfortunately. Alright, Killen, let's get this party started. He won't last long, he's tired, so get Kolk ready. And then we will get Johnson ready here momentarily. Okay, we're still on the flat for the moment, so let's wait to get Kolk started. And there's Killen to break toe behind us. Okay, slight uphill, and then it's going to flatten off again a little bit, and then the climb itself is just one little section. And we're not quite turning in the tempo you need to actually
meaning that an attack is highly unlikely.
Do something here. 3K to go to the top. And now we are finally out front where we need to be. Topov done, on to Millar.
The team plans could well be turned upside
It's downhill finish. Zeta went down in a crash. I didn't see who else was involved, but Zeta was part of that. He's not in actual overall contention in any way, but that'll hurt him. Lopez, McNulty, Vlasov, Martinez.
Only a few
Then
riders
we
are
have
capable of
responded to
following
this.
the very fast pace up front.
And we're going to be strong over the top, and just 31 riders now left at the front. Still uphill at the moment.
The finish line is getting close. The riders have just passed the 15 kilometers road sign.
Down to 27. And for me, just the 3. Alright, let's take a second before we go to the finish here. This guy's all to auto. Okay, we got AFP, Breck, and Kolda. 12K to go. Kolda, oh, Kolda's gonna be out of this thing. It's only 4.5%. He's not pulling ahead, but we'll just keep him plugging away at the front unless we start getting overtaken.
The finish line is getting close.
He's a 78 descender today, so he'll put in a good time. Here goes Vlasov attacking.
Another attack. This time it could go all the way.
Surprised nobody else is trying to respond at the moment. AFP recovering, Breck recovering. Okay, gel up for them. And let's go get after Vlasov, and definitely not let Rivera get away.
5 kilometers to the finish line.
Gel kicks in a little earlier than I wanted for Breck, slightly. But here's that push, 3.5K. Mostly downhill, so he's going to start his attack at 2.5K. Same with AFP. Starting early. Having a go. AFP. There's that good acceleration, but not the overall top speed. Vlasov's going to hang on to win the stage. Really? Ouch. Mastroselli, Gritze, Bernal. AFP grabs 5th, so no time bonus. But we're in a small group. 26 at the line. Nobody else losing time, and all 3 of my guys are there, so I'll take that as a good, successful day. There's going to be some more riders who lost time today. Not many, but there might be a couple caught out. Stage 7. 7 riders in the break. 7-minute lead, nearly 8. 3 riders off the back, including Talipov. Talipov just went down in a crash. He's now inside 2 minutes, so he might regain contact yet, but he's going to be a bit tired once he gets up here. And he, who we had put on auto there for a while, did the work and brought it back, and he was actually protecting AFP, so we'll get him back into that position here. Gap is now at 8.5 minutes to the front, though, so those guys are going to have a sizable gap today first big decisive stage, though. Climbing. Quite a bit of it. The final climb's 15K, but with this penultimate climb, this little Cat 3, that's going to be over 20K of climbing with a short descent in that early part. We don't want that to do too much damage. The real climb starts in the one after, so we want to have just enough, but we've got to stay near the front. So minimal energy use on this first climb, but we've got to stay near the front. And I'm worried about this gap to the break. I mean, that's 8 minutes. I don't know how far behind those guys are overall. I suppose we can check real quick. 2013, 12, 132. So there is a minute and a half to one of those riders. All right, halfway up this first climb, and Millar's dropped back a little bit. Millar, let's get you back on coming up there.
We've got 15 kilometers to the finish line. The pack
All
is
right,
increasing
going to hit
its
the
work
top.
rate. Some teams can't be happy
Gap's
with the
down to
breakaway.
6 minutes at the front, but it's still a pretty sizable gap. I mean, we pulled back 2 minutes in those 5 kilometers, and we've got 15 more
There's
worth
an
of
attack
climbing
in
to
the leading
go.
group.
Now we
Some
also need to
riders were
prepare
not giving it their
for
all
the
and
next
sharing the
phase.
pace.
Everybody needs to do what we did with Millar, and Millar needs to push even harder to make sure he stays up here.
Somebody's taking a tumble in the main bunch.
Seb Berwick falls. I'm not sure what team that is he's with. It looks like
Breakaway.
maybe one of the Continental
Now
teams.
the guys up front are asking serious questions of the riders in the rear as more of them are left in
13K
the
to
wake.
go, and we're already coming back at some of those riders off the front.
And there's an attack
Or
in the
maybe that
front.
was
He could
3
go all the
riders that
way.
just escaped
10 kilometers to the
momentarily
finish line.
here. Pushing tempo. Alright, slow things down for a moment. 10K to go. And we are still fairly well in position, but Killen is about to start slipping back. Who else needs to use their gel right this second? These guys do. Kolk also. Happening a little faster than I hoped or
This
expected.
climb features some dreadful percentages.
Millar getting
An
caught
attack is
out.
launched.
He needs
The
to be
group has to
up
break
here
apart.
to take over protection duties.
The breakaway has got more than a good lead. The pack is going to have to react.
Okay, Killen. There's Kolk starting to do his fade.
And off he
Kalapov
goes.
is
He's giving it one last
fading,
go.
and we're seeing an attack already. 9K to go. McNulty and Rivera. Rivera, of all people, attacking. How do we want to respond on this thing? Johnson's back here with Millar. That's not good. I think that's where my response needs to start, though. And then we'll pick up Kolda, AFP, and Breck on the way through. Save some energy. We've got plenty of kilometers here. Johnson. You're a good climber. Where's that pace? Okay, on to Millar. Johnson's getting dropped. Millar back to the group, but you can see a lot of riders, a lot of teams,
There are
and it's
just
still
5
here.
kilometers left.
Millar's having to fight his way through. Higuita, Bernal, Saceda, Lopez, McNulty, those guys all up the road. 5K. And this is a great time for a pickup. So we pick up Kolda. And then we're going to pick up, I guess, Breck. And then AFP onto the back. And here we go. Millar made it back up. Already we've pulled back the first group, just like that. And these guys have definitely expended some extra energy. This is not going to be an easy final 4K. Millar is blocked off at the moment and not able to find some space. Get him out in space. He didn't make up any ground once he got out there, unfortunately. Kolda. Oh, we can't push too hard here. Can't push too hard. Look at Breck and AFP both struggling.
Things are
3K
hurrying
to
up at the
go.
front.
Yermakov and McNulty are up the road, but otherwise we've caught the other challengers, the other contenders, but we've also just about done in
Watch out.
our
A team
remaining
leader is falling
riders.
behind.
I can let top 2 go away up the road. I can't let... See, Breck and AFP don't have anything left to chase down anything up there. Breck's doing a little bit better than AFP at this point. He will be able to take off here in this final 500 meters or so. And then I'll have AFP. We'll pause for a second and have AFP. There we go. AFP needs to follow Kolda. Kolda needs to pull him along Breck. Get whatever time he can get.
A real show of power.
Yermakov for the stage, Sivikov, Lopez,
in this difficult race.
McNulty. There's Breck gaining a little bit of time, and then we're in a good place otherwise. Kolda and AFP crossing the line there next. A little bit further behind, but again, later on with time trial, we can make that up. But we've got to take advantage of whatever seconds we can get right now for Breck. You never know with his better climbing later on. That could come back and be important. Yeah, even Millar was in the top 20 and 18th, so 6th, 8th, 9th on the stage. We beat out Martinez and Bernal, Yamaguchi, Rivera. We passed all those guys on the way up. Trentadue, Paulus all the way down at 19th, so that wasn't a bad stage, but it also just shows that we're not there with Yermakov or McNulty. But you know, Breck was just behind McNulty at the end, so we just about covered that off.
And here are the key moments of the race.
I thought I saw McNulty a little closer up the road, but apparently not. He was 32 seconds ahead of us, so we were twice the time back he was from Yermakov. Still, again, not necessarily a bad thing. And Kolda and AFP were 17 seconds back. Again, not a big loss there, and he still would be technically our favorite with that type of gap, with the time trialing ability. But then we gain time on a lot of contenders, so that is going to put us into a fairly good spot overall. In fact, here we are. So Yermakov, Sivikov, Lopez, and McNulty. Right now, the top 4 are the only riders within a minute of each other. And then that next group, that 1 to 2 minutes, is all my guys. All 3 of them. So same 3 right there, neck and neck, handful of seconds apart from one another. And then Rivera, Bernal, Martinez, Yamaguchi at just over 2. And then it opens up to 3 by the time you get down to Paulus. And then there's your definitely already out of contention from Gegenhardt on down. Probably Matteo. Interesting. I've not seen him before, but he's a pretty decent rider. But most of these guys are going to be out of contention quite soon. So we still find ourselves in a good place. I mean, getting 3 guys still in the top 10 is good. We need a top 5. Right now we're sitting right on 5th. It's way too early for that to matter yet, but I think it was a good move to get Breck the 17 seconds back that we were able to get right at the end there. So that's helpful. It didn't hurt AFP. Sacrificing Kolda for the other 2, I think, is definitely the smart move, and we're probably leaning AFP, but you never know with moves like that late for Breck to kind of leave behind and otherwise work together. We'll see how that goes. Short one today. Sorry, I'm total time crunch these days, and I've got to just keep plugging away and get things done. Just happy to have any sort of content going out at the moment. So that does it for this one. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to hit that like button, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there, and bye for now.